Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks, and this is part 2. And if you didn't watch part 1, you might want to back up and watch part 1. So now we're going to add a little shading and maybe make this thing look like it's there's a shadow being cast. And I'm just kind of using my imagination. And I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool and get it like on a lighter, maybe a darker gray, and feel that. There we go with the leak again. Let's see if we do. We'd really want the shadow on the other side. There we go. That way we won't have to deal with leaks. Now I'm going to go ahead and take away that line. Whoop. Took away my shadowing. Click off your page. It says right there you got a curve. That doesn't look half bad. Now let's take it and let's group all this together. You know what? Let's put our nudge factor on something big. This thing is 18 inches long. Let's put our nudge factor on 20. Let's select it all and go up the boundary tool and make a boundary of it. Let's fill that in with black. Let's get the shadow tool and let's go from here to here. Just kind of giving a little bit of black. Go up to object, break the shadow apart. And because we nudged, we can nudge it back. That's a little bit probably too far, but we can go to object, order, back a page so the shadow's behind the wall. And then that way it gives us a shadow in our hole. We can actually move this thing down a little bit so it wouldn't be quite, we want it to show off a little bit there. And actually it would be neat to have maybe not a shadow in that part. So let's try this. Let's just delete this. Let's take away the fill and let's fill this in. And because we've nudged, okay, it leaked a little bit, but that won't really be a problem. We can go and break the curve apart and get rid of these. I was hoping I could just get rid of that. So what we could do is take all this, left click, right click, and then cut these lines away of the ones we don't need. Whoop, that's what we need. We don't need that. Whoop. I'm not doing very good today. We just really, kind of hard to say what we want. Tell you what, let's see if this won't fill in without leaking. There's what we want right there. Okay, left click, right click. I don't think those lines are going to matter. Let's go ahead and fill this in with black. So it filled in everything. It actually filled it in with that gray, but that'll work. And now let's try taking the shadow tool and do the same. Whoop. That didn't work. Back up. Kind of go from the. There we go. Man, that looks pretty good. If I would have left it alone, maybe not quite as much shadow. And that looks pretty cool, that part in the middle. So now let's go to object and break the drop shadow apart. Grab just the drop shadow and move it over. And we need to play around with bringing this in a little bit lower. That looks pretty cool. We could have made it a little bit darker. Let's back up here. Let's get the drop shadow tool back and make it a little bit darker. Now it's trying to make a double drop shadow. So let's just back up quite a bit more so we don't have that drop shadow and just start a new one. Kind of go from the bottom up. That's a lot better. Tell you what, let's leave it dark and let's extend it out to where that shadow is kind of off. And then go up to Object, Break Shadow Apart, nudge this over, Object, Order, back a page. And I still think it'd be better if this shadow was just. That looks pretty cool, I think. Huh. Anyway, even a blind squirrel can find a acorn every once in a while. You could make these a little bit darker, but I think that really looks pretty good. I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.